Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today to learn about one of my favorite US states, the state of Oregon. Before we get started, if you're joining us today, please leave a comment. Let us know where you're joining from. We would love to see where you're listening from around the world. I'm currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is rainy here today. But we would love to know where you're coming from. And also, if you are somebody that is currently in your immigration process and you're heading to Oregon, we would love to know that too if you want to go ahead and drop it in the chat. So let's go ahead and get started and we'll talk about the state of Oregon. Next slide. So my name's Kelsey. If you've been on our webinars before, you might have seen me. I'm a senior recruiter here at Worldwide Health Staff Solutions. Like I mentioned, I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've lived here for about 3 years, but I travel a lot and love visiting other places in the US, specifically Oregon. I've been in this role for over 3 years now and gotten to work with a lot of you on your applications. And I'm super dedicated to helping nurses achieve their career goals in the US. Next slide. So a little bit about Oregon. I actually got to visit Oregon last year in February for the very first time, and I'm also going back there in July of this year, and I'm super excited about that. It is such a cool state. There is so much to do there. It is one of those states where you get access to the mountains, to beaches, and city life all in one state. Not every US state has all of those opportunities, and Oregon is one of them. So is North Carolina, which is one of the reasons I like living here. But the nature aspect of the West Coast, specifically Oregon and Washington, is just really, really beautiful. If nature is important to you, and clean air and being able to do stuff outside with your family, this is a great place. You can balance outdoor activities with urban experiences. They also don't have sales tax on things that you buy. Sales tax is pretty common here in the US. Most states do have sales tax, which means whenever you buy something, there's an additional tax added. But there's a handful of states, and Oregon is one of them, where there is no sales tax on the things that you buy, which is a great perk. It's a great place to build a life with a lot of different adventures. One of the things that I like about Oregon is that you have accessibility to other parts of the West Coast, from Washington to California, even Canada. I visited the West Coast back in November and took a train from Washington State all the way up to Canada. Super accessible, super easy to get around. They have a lot of different train and bus options and things like that. And so if you're somebody that enjoys traveling, this might be a great place to be located in the US. Also, because you're on the West Coast, getting to parts of Asia and the Middle East is a lot easier because you're already on the West Coast of the United States. And so flights are a little bit cheaper, and you have several different international hubs on the West Coast that allow you to travel to see your friends and family, if that going back home is super important to you. So I love Oregon. The food there was fantastic. One of the best food cities I've been to. I was in Portland, Oregon, and there's just so much to do. They always have stuff going on. It's a very community-centered state, even in the larger cities. And so highly recommend, if you're, looking at different options, not really sure where in the US to go, you might want to check out Oregon. Next slide. So the state of Oregon, the largest city is Portland, which is where I visited. It is about 2.5 million people, but it doesn't seem like a crazy massive city. Like New York City or Chicago can feel really big and bustling all the time. Portland has a nice slower pace to it, and like I said, a big community aspect to it. You also have the cities of Eugene and Salem, which are some of the next biggest cities. And then there's a lot of great mid-sized cities in Oregon. We've hired for hospitals in a number of them, that really allow you to stay connected and have the resources that you need without being in a massive city. They do get all 4 seasons, and now everybody thinks that Portland and Washington get rain just all the time, and they do. They do get a lot of rain, but it balances out, and that rain is what makes their nature area so incredibly wonderful. And so honestly, I think the rain is worth it for their nature aspect. Oregon is known for Portland. They have a trendy culture. Their phrase there is "Keep Portland Weird." It's just a very unique community. Crater Lake National Park is in Oregon. The Pacific coastline, of course, like we talked about, it's on the Pacific Ocean, really accessible to the ocean there. Mount Hood is a mountain there. I could actually see it when I was in Portland. It is beautiful. And the environment and sustainability. Like I mentioned, it's a state that has a strong focus on nature and community. And so sustainability is really, really important to the people of Oregon. Next slide. So a few quick stats about life in Oregon. The whole state has a population of 4.27 million. Commuting is about 30 minutes. That's pretty normal for most US states unless you're living in a major US city. The median home price and the cost of living, I would say it's a little bit more expensive than some other states in the US, but really you get what you pay for. The accessibility to the nature, the cities, those types of things, it's a good balance. It's definitely cheaper than some other places as well. And so if you're looking for something kind of in the middle, Oregon is a great option for that as well. The big airport, the international airport, is PDX in Portland, great airport. And some of the top reasons to live in Oregon, they have thriving tech and green industries. So if you're a nurse and your spouse is in the tech industry, this is a great place for you to relocate. There are always tech jobs available. The quality of life is fantastic, mainly due to the accessibility to the outdoors. Like we mentioned, there's access to the coast, mountains and forests, and eco-friendly culture, outdoor recreation year-round, mild climate with all 4 seasons, no sales tax, like we talked about, and great communities and art scene. There's also strong international populations, especially in places like Portland and Seattle, those larger cities. And so if you're hoping to find a community when you get here, that is a great thing about Oregon. Next slide. And if you have questions as we go through and we're talking about Oregon, please go ahead and put them in the chat. If you have a question that is not about Oregon, but you still would like to know, go ahead and put it in the chat. We're going to take some questions and answers when we get to the end of our slide deck here. So we have a number of clients that we work with in Oregon and in the Pacific Northwest. Their current interview availability really depends on the time that you apply and the type of unit that you're working in. We just finished a big round of interviews with Peace Health. We have hired previously for the Goodman Group and Vibra Healthcare. And then if you're a dialysis nurse working with us, you know that we hire for both DaVita and Fresenius, who has locations in Oregon as well. So if Oregon is a priority state for you, we would love for you to get in contact with your recruiter so that we can talk with you about opportunities that we have there. Next slide. I see a question in the chat and we're going to answer it right now. Does Oregon Board of Nursing accept PTE for endorsing a license from the New York Board of Nursing? Great timing with your question. So currently Oregon accepts TOEFL and IELTS. A lot of US states don't accept PTE right now. Most of them accept TOEFL and IELTS. And so if you haven't yet taken an English exam, really encourage you to look into TOEFL or IELTS. You'll just have more options when it comes to choosing a state. Now, if you've already taken PTE and you're like, I only want to go to a state that accepts PTE, that's okay too. Our recruiters will help match you with that right opportunity. The great thing about the Oregon licensure requirements is that you don't have to have your social security number to get your license there, which means you can start that licensure process before you even get to the US. It helps to speed up your process when you get here, which means you can start work just a little bit faster. And if you have a compact nursing license, it's also accepted in Oregon. So great option as far as licensure goes. Next slide. All right, let's talk a little bit about living in Oregon. If you have more questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll be answering them at the end of our session today. Housing in Oregon, specifically in Eugene and Springfield. Springfield is where we've hired for Peace Health in the past. It's a little bit more affordable than larger cities. This is really the case wherever you are in the US. Larger cities are going to have higher costs of living. Smaller cities or mid-sized cities are going to have lower cost of living. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide what state you want to go to. If you want a larger city, you're going to have to be okay with just a bit higher cost of living. Portland does have higher rent because it is, like I mentioned, a larger city, a larger cost of living. But compared to somewhere like San Francisco, the cost of living is still cheaper, which is great. Transportation, public transportation is widely used, specifically in Portland and Eugene. I used it when I was there last year. It's really great. They have several different train options that allow you to get through the city really safely and really carefully. I felt super safe the whole time I was there. The public transportation was great and reliable. And so if you're coming to the US and maybe you don't have your driver's license yet, or you know it'll take you some time to get a car in the US, this might be a great first spot for you, specifically in one of these cities here in Oregon. So that's really something for you to consider when you're choosing a state to live in. And then cost of living. Families in the Portland area definitely spend a little bit more per month, depending on the size of your family, how many kids you have, and really what neighborhoods you live in. And then, of course, Eugene and Springfield are a little bit cheaper because they're smaller cities. And that's just kind of typical for the US. You can see here kind of the breakdown of what it looks like if you have 2 adults and 2 children in your families, what your housing is going to look like. As you can see, Portland or areas like Vancouver or Hillsborough are just a little bit more expensive per month. And so these are great things to take into consideration once you get an offer and you see that salary amount. You're starting to calculate what your requirements are, what your expenses are going to be like. This is a great resource to use. And also, our recruiters have a lot of resources at their fingertips to help you make the right determination of what state is best for you. And so if you're like, well, my priorities are low cost of living, I want to be close to nature, and I want good schools for my kids, then you should tell your recruiter that, and they can help you match that right opportunity. Now, if you're already in process with one of these employers, maybe you're already in your immigration process, your petition's being filed, or you're waiting for your priority date to become current, your case manager can also help you access these resources as well. We want to make sure that you're prepared when you get here to the US, that you have all of the information that you need, and every team member here at WWHS is dedicated to making that happen. Let's go to the next slide. All right, job opportunities. So you might be thinking that seems like a lot of expenses, and life in the US can be expensive sometimes. But the great news is that if you're on your way with an EB3 petition and you are married, your spouse can be added to your petition and receive a green card as well, which means that they can work as soon as they're here in the US and they have their green card. They can even start applying to jobs while you guys are in your relocation process. Oregon has a lot of job opportunities. There are healthcare support roles, education and childcare, administration and office support, retail and customer service, food service. Now, one specific one I want to talk about is technology and IT support. If your partner is working in IT, Portland is a really great place for that. There are a lot of headquarters of large US IT companies in the West Coast, California, Oregon, and Washington. And so this is a really great place if you have a background in the tech industry. Manufacturing and production, landscaping and groundskeeping, warehouse and logistics roles, cleaning and janitorial services, and transportation and delivery. And so regardless of the industry that your partner works in, or even your children, if you're bringing your children on your petition and they are, focused on their career in the future, you want to be able to know what opportunities are available for them. Really, this part of the US has a lot of opportunities for you. Next slide. All right, now it's time for our Q&A. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I will be answering these questions. The first one that I see here is a question about scores for IELTS, which I'm actually looking up for you right now. So if you give me just a second, I'm going to pull this up while we talk. I see a question from George. Is a diploma in midwifery accepted? Typically, our employers are looking for nurses that have a diploma in nursing specifically, or a BSN in nursing. And so talk with your recruiter about the opportunity and we'll let you know. But typically, they are looking for a diploma in nursing specifically. Okay, back to the question about IELTS scores. It really is dependent on the state. Typically, they're wanting 6 or 6.5 overall, 6 for your module, and 7 for speaking. Now, again, this is dependent upon the state, so make sure you talk with your recruiter about the particular opportunities for you. If you're already in process, ask your case manager about this. We want to make sure that you get the right score. I see that we have several questions from people about nursing assistant roles or healthcare support roles. Currently, the positions that we are hiring for are for RNs who have passed the NCLEX exam. The immigration process for nurse aides does take a little bit longer. And so right now we have RN opportunities available. If you haven't passed the NCLEX, I would encourage you to move in that direction, as we would love to help you in the future. Let's see what other questions we have here. Awesome. I see a question from Ruby. She says, I successfully passed the NCLEX in New York and eager to work as a nurse in Oregon, where my family is. What are the possible requirements for endorsement? We talked about those requirements a couple of slides back. You don't have to have your SSN for endorsement, and we have a fantastic licensure team that will be assisting you throughout the process. So you don't need to worry about the licensure endorsement until after you get to that stage in the process. You'll want to start with interviewing and accepting a job offer, getting your petition filed, and then we'll assist you with the endorsement process later on down the line. I see a question. I'm a dialysis nurse. I have 12 years of experience. We do hire for dialysis roles very regularly. I would encourage you to apply or contact our live chat, healthstaff.org/live chat, to speak with one of our dedicated recruiters. Let's see what other questions we've gotten here. I want to make sure that I get to everybody. Let's see. I see a question from Changes. Danielle, do you offer job opportunities for dependents? We don't currently assist in the process of helping your dependent find a job. However, we do help your dependent get their green card. That's part of our processing. And once you have your green card, you can apply directly to any employers in the US. So you don't need our assistance in obtaining that job for you. Nabila has a question. Do you sponsor for NCLEX? We do not currently. But we do offer opportunities for nurses with their NCLEX, and so we encourage you to take your NCLEX. Alora is asking, I took my PTE and currently processing my visa. Will it be invalid? I would encourage you to ask your case manager about this. They're going to have the most updated details about your petition currently. Question from Jewel. Do you have job opportunities for dialysis nurses? I recently passed NCLEX. Congratulations on passing NCLEX. That's so exciting. Yes, we do have opportunities for dialysis nurses. We have a great team of dialysis recruiters who would be happy to speak with you about your application. Ruby wants to know, do you have opportunities for med-surg? Yes, we do. We hire for med-surg really, really often. And so if you have an application with us already, reach out to your recruiter and let them know you're interested in Oregon. If you don't have an application with us, you can apply at healthstaff.org. Kanji wants to know, do you help somebody with NCLEX training and exams? We don't currently offer this at this time. Modise wants to know, my priority date is October 2024. What's the possibility for me to come to the USA? There is visa retrogression ongoing, but visas are still moving through the process. It's just a little bit slower. And so keep an eye on our social media channels as we talk about visa bulletins. We have webinars regularly about visa retrogression and what that means for you and your application. All right, I think those are most of the questions in the chat. If you asked a question and I didn't get to it, or you have a question that you didn't really want to ask in the chat, go ahead and visit our live chat. You can speak with a recruiter directly, healthstaff.org/live chat. And we're so excited that you were able to join us today to learn more about Oregon. Next slide. If you're not sure about what state in the US is right for you, I know there's so many different options and every state has different things that it offers. Check out our YouTube channel. We have a great channel of all of the different state webinars we've done. I did one for Georgia recently. We've done one for Washington State. We've done Tennessee, so many different states. And you can watch other webinars just like this one that I'm doing today to learn about that state and see if it's the right opportunity for you. You can also talk with your recruiter. Your recruiter has so much knowledge about the different states in the US, what opportunities we have available. And most of our recruiters have lived in multiple US states or visited multiple US states. And so you can know that they're going to give you the most updated and, hands-on information. Next slide. You can also like us on Facebook for immigration updates and new positions. Our marketing team is always posting new stuff there. You can see what's coming up if we have hiring events coming up or different things like that. And we would love to handle that for you. I see a couple more questions I want to answer that just came in real fast. Changes wants to know, when does the petition start when filed by lawyers? That is a great question. Worldwide Health Staff is direct hire, which means we help you interview with an employer first. Then once you accept an offer from that employer, then we begin your petition filing. And yes, we collect all of your documents and then we get your petition filed by our great legal team. And then one last question from Ruby, can I submit my CV while still waiting for my license number? Absolutely, you can. As long as you have a copy of your pass result, that section on the NCLEX website that says you passed, you can definitely move forward with us. We know it can take a little bit of time to get your license number, and we would love to help you with your application. If you're already in process with us and you have a nurse friend that would like to join us, we have a great referral program. You can refer a friend who is an NCLEX passer and earn up to $250. If they apply with us and they sign a contract and their petition gets filed, you'll get paid out, and we would love to work with your friends and colleagues and help them also come to the US. All right, I think that is everything for today. Again, if you have a question that wasn't answered, please visit our website, visit our YouTube channel. We have so many resources available for you, and we're so excited to be assisting you on your journey to the US.